magical patron friends. Today I'm talking to two of our preeminent Harry Potter authors. We've got Irvin, whom you all know as one of my alternate co-hosts.
Hi.
And Grace, who has a book coming out very soon.
Hi. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And Irvin.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to join the WZRD team over here. Also, I've never been preeminent before. That's nice.
Ooh la la.
Grace, we're so fancy.
We're very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
That I have a thing to hand out to people when they ask my opinions on Tom. That's kind of what this book was born as, right?
I got some hard-hitting questions for you, all based in Wizard Rock, because, tis where we are.
We talked about this before we started recording, but my Wizard Rock knowledge is the most archaic and ancient, the ancient texts of Wizard Rock. I have not updated. I have not heard the new stuff. I'm sure it's wonderful, but I would literally had stuff stuck in my head from way back in the day with Draco and the Malfoys before we booted up the podcast. So any questions that you may have that are Wizard Rock based might go either straight over my head or I'm going to have to review it after we're done.
Okay. For anyone who isn't aware, just a quick catch up. So I've written 2 books about Harry Potter characters. My first book was Dumbledore. Hold on, Dumbledore, the very long subtitle. What was it? Dumbledore, the Life and Lies of something or other. And my second book
so dope. They're both amazing.
In October, which is Malfoy, the Most Treacherous Family, all about Draco and his parents. And now Grace gets to join our little Harry Potter book writing family with an upcoming book all about He Who Must Not Be Named.
My book is called Voldemort, the definitive study of Tom Riddle, the man who would become He Who Must Not Be Named, an unofficial exploration. I call it the Voldemort book. If we're just talking about it one-on-one, it's the Tom book. So I can't wait for it to come out. It's going to be out April 21st. So look for it at Barnes & Noble or your local bookshop. It's everywhere where Irvin's would be sold. So I'm a huge fan of Irvin's work. I'm a huge fan of Laurie's work. And I'm a huge fan of the unofficial guides. I wrote on the second one as well. So that was like my start in the Harry Potter academic world, aside from like doing talks at conferences.
Yeah, and I am a huge fan of Grace's upcoming book. I was one of the beta readers, what was it, a year ago now?
Yes, Irvin had a heavy hand in helping me through the process of writing this book. He was one of my biggest cheerleaders when it came to the beginning of this process. I don't think that I would have gotten through it without the support of all of my friends in the Harry Potter family, Irvin included. So thank you. Thank you yet again. I say this every time.
Yeah.
There was a brilliant work from both Irvin and from Laurie with the Snape book. The Dumbledore book at the time didn't have the Malfoy book yet, but I am excited to dive into it because it's sitting on my shelf. I've already started it. I'm terrified that I'm going to find like theories in it that are exactly opposite of the ones that I had in the Tom book. But that's just, it's going to be what it is. Am I right?
Yes,
it is
well,
what
and
it is.
Regrettably, your book was not finished or published when I wrote the Malfoy book, so I did not have the chance to go, well, as Grace says on page 103, blah, 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 let me explain why she's completely wrong in this 5-page
I'd weep. I'd weep, Irvin! I wouldn't even be mad at you if you did that because, like, fair game, right? It's in print. Go at it, buddy. But, like, the thing is, I did almost the same thing. I was like, Irvin has this theory, and this is why I believe it isn't right. Literally, I named you and Laurie because there's brilliant theories. There are brilliant theories in both, and all of them. I think that everyone should go out and read those books. They were inspiring to me. They were very good. And when I did my talk at the 2018 Harry Potter conference in Chestnut Hill, and that was when I started talking to you, and that was when I started becoming friends with Laurie, and that was when I think like the ideas started to like, you can't see me making this motion, listeners, but it's like smush together with your hands. I'm a writer. I don't know words. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sure.
You know all the best words.
Smush. Yeah. Anyway, that's how the book came to be. I was inspired, and I had a lot of support from a lot of my friends around me, and I was very lucky. I was very lucky to have you as a beta reader.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
the book was phenomenal back when I was beta reading it. I absolutely can't wait to get my hands on a finished copy and see how much better it is now.
Thank you. It has gotten much better. I personally can't go back and reread right now because I've reread it too many times, and my eyeballs will fall out of my head.
No, by the time each of my books was releasing, I was like, I do not want to look at this. I do not want to read it. I feel like I could recite it word perfect by now. Like, I'm done.
Yes, I was looking funny enough, I was looking through bits of it to post up online as promo, and, like, I had a bit cut out because I was like, "This'll be good, it's a good standalone." I reread it today, and I was like, "That line is unnecessary, that word's
Mm.
unnecessary, that's unnecessary, that's repeated, that's repeated, that's repeated, why did I do that?" It's like, "Ah!" So, rereading my stuff, probably not gonna do for a while, but I am very, very proud of the work. I am.
You should be. And honestly, there will come a day, like, 2 years from now, where you need to
Yes.
like look up something you said in the book and you'll be like,
Yeah.
wait, this is pretty damn good.
This is pretty
Ooh.
good. This Grace girl's got some ideas, huh?
Yeah. Be like, oh,
I
what a
agree with
good
her.
theory. How well phrased.
Have you gotten to that point with any of obviously probably not with Malfoy, because Malfoy just hit the shelves, but have you
No.
been able to reread Dumbledore and be like, "That's actually that slaps. That's really good."
Dumbledore I've only read in bits and pieces, but the
Mhm,
last time I did like a quick skim, I was
mhm,
doing a launch for the Polish version of Dumbledore in
mhm.
Krakow last summer. And so when I do a book launch, I like, do a whole little presentation, a whole little bit. And I was like, well, like, I haven't quote launched this book in quite a few years. Let me like page through and remember my own theories. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know, that's not half bad.
I'm a solid fan of that Dumbledore book, especially going back. I might reread it, and I have a lot of friends around me who like Dumbledore as a character. I cannot tell you the number of times I've recommended it to them. I really, really enjoyed it. I really genuinely enjoyed that book so much, along with the Snape one. I
Thank
think
you.
they're both so different tonally, like it feels like two completely different voices, which is what I enjoy so much about the two books. Two different writers, of course, is what you're gonna get. But it's like I can hear your voices through the books, and that's very comforting to me. I think it's beautiful.
Yes. I feel like that is a good dovetail into the first question I have for you, because I did have questions for you before this mutual admiration society derailed us. Which is, where did you sort of center your analysis? And what I mean by that is, so when I was writing my books, I very much wanted them to be part of the fandom, right? Sort of very
Mhm,
much in conversation with the fandom, with essays, with basically like the 25 years of analysis that the online Harry Potter fandom has provided.
mhm.
Lori Kim with her Snape book kind of did the opposite, I feel, where she was centered her Snape book on like, this is how I see Snape.
Yeah.
I don't care what any of the rest of you think. So where would you say you fall sort of in that spectrum, and like what sources is your Voldemort book in conversation with?
Well, the sources that I used are strictly the 7 books. I kinda had to cut it off pretty solidly, like, I'm not drawing from The Cursed Child, I'm not drawing from anything else outside, no quotes, no interviews, no nothing, just the 7 books, that text. I had to be very particular about the stuff that I included because of it, because I feel like the more that we expand, like with something like Cursed Child, with all this extra material, the more you deviate from what you saw in the original stories. And I think people even have that issue when it comes to Harry's character or with a lot of characters outside of just Tom. So, just for the sake of academic clarity and for the sake of my sanity, I needed to know where the line was cut. So, just drawing from the 7 books. And the reason that I wrote the book is I've been a Tom fan since I've been a Harry Potter fan. So, I feel like my love of this villain came about really organically, and being a part of the fan community, I'd see a lot of things online and just in it's just with people talking about stuff that they would sort of attribute to Tom either a lot of these extra uncited characteristics that didn't quite make sense according to the actual work itself, or people being like overly forgiving of him. So like they'd either put too much on him or not enough on him. And I'm trying to find this middle point where it's like, yes, he is all of these things, but he's also a human in these ways. So, in that way, I'm kind of in between both your way of communicating with the fandom audience, Irvin, where it's like, I wanted it to very much be part of the fandom, and Lori's, where it's like, I see the character this way. I wanted to show what I saw as the character and my theories of this character supported by the book or not supported by the book, and I would completely present it as like, this is a theory that I'm getting on instinct, so feel free to reject. But I have a deep love for this character and have had a deep love for this character for a very long time. And I wanted to talk about him in a way that was very frank with the audience. So this is for the villain loving girlies out there like me who really wanted to dig deep into this character and like not just overwhelmingly forgive him of everything because he had a rough past, but also not to forget what he's gone through. So in communication with the work, I don't know, I had a lot of fun writing it. I had a lot of fun diving into it. So does that clear things up?
Somewhat, but I do actually want to zero in on what about Voldemort compels you. So the Parcel Mouths made a very convincing case for why they love Voldemort in Voldemort Fangirl, of course. But Grace, like, I wanna, just ask the obvious question, why are you a Voldemort fangirl? Like, what about this character draws you in?
Are you not into snake boys? Like, what's wrong with you? How could you not love a snake man? A hot snake? No, I'm kidding. Though I'm not. There are a lot of people who do. I've always loved villains just because I've always loved like Disney villain themes. I always loved like the darker themes and cool stuff like that. So it was really easy for me to jump into the aesthetic and sort of fixate on it. But then why not any other character? There's a ton of villains in the Harry Potter series that actually fit that bill. Why Tom specifically? In diving into Tom's character, I found someone so deeply and profoundly flawed and fractured that I felt almost connected to the way that he has this innate self-loathing, but projects outward that he is the best, right? This sort of narcissistic veneer. I really, really connected with the idea of like piecing that apart. He's almost like a puzzle of a character because he does not want you to know what's deeper beneath him. He wants you to see Lord Voldemort. He wants you to see he who must not be named and never question beneath it. And that compelled me to try to look beneath it more than anything else. So I love the tidbits of the story. I love the fact that we were getting it through sources that maybe were not the most trustworthy, or maybe spinning it in a certain way. Not even trying to spin it in a certain way, but not even realizing how much they were doing that. So I love how flawed he is. I really genuinely do. I think that's part of the reason why I love Dumbledore so much, is because of how flawed he is. At a certain point, I compare Tom to both a mask and a mirror. So you can have the choice of donning a mask like he does and masking away everything that you see is wrong with you instead of looking it in the mirror, self-reflection. He ran from the mirror. He doesn't want to do any self-reflecting. He donned the mask instead. But he is the question within the text that's asking you, will you take a look at yourself, all of your darker aspects, and choose to face them or love them as you should, to embrace them, or will you run from them? So, for me, I think it was a very therapeutic experience. And I'm hoping it is for the readers as well.
Yeah. I mean, I found it to be so. When I was later reading your book, and like we got to the end, I was just sort of like, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding.
Thank you, fan fiction.
And I was just
Did my book romance you?
It did. I was like, what
goodness.
a journey. What a portrait of a dude. Like, it was.
It's a rough one. It's a rough
Yeah.
one. It's a rough portrait. But it's worth the looking at it, because I found, and maybe this is my woo-woo self, my humanity-loving self, The idea of loving a character so flawed and that hates himself so much, if you take the time to try to love all these aspects of him, you can take the time to love those aspects of yourself. You can do it.
Mhm.
And you should do it. Everyone listening, you should do it. Love yourself. This is my message to you.
Okay, so you are compelled by Tom. You want to,
I have him on the back of my head right now as we're speaking. He's
right,
chatting away.
you off Alaska earwax. There's a face in the back of my head. So once you set out to write a book about Tom, what was your research process for pulling this all together?
Oh, God. Okay. I knew that things were going to get crazy. It started with a full reread of the book where I very, very specifically honed in on the Tom scenes. So that was probably like the most fun part. I love rereading these books, and I love specifically having the excuse of looking at my favorite character over and over again. Because not only is it fun to watch him in his like covert narcissistic phase where it's like he's a lot younger and he's like hiding how obsessed he is with his portrayal of himself, but also older when he's got the big grand entrances and the black billowing robes and all that stuff. It's very, very fun to watch him on screen, quote unquote. After I was done with the full reread and I was solidly done with the timeline, because the timeline for Tom really screwed with me. I really needed to nail down the timeline
Yeah,
because he's my man. He's scrambling. He's scrambling all over the place,
yeah,
doing a lot of
I
traveling
remember
and a lot of,
I
yeah.
were going over that of
Oh
the
God,
who,
there were a
what,
lot of
where, and
calls.
especially when.
Yeah, there were a lot of calls for clarity to Irvin at certain points where I was like, I do not understand how this stupid thing works that he did. um
Yeah, I do just get random texts at like
yeah.
11 p.m. on a Friday being like, hey, so when Tom says this one thing in book 5.
Do you remember this thing that happened? As if he wouldn't. So after that was done, I would find myself at certain points needing to research very, very strange things like the effects of incest on the mind, and how far those roots go and what happens when incest births a child, which is like kind of the situation when it comes to Tom and the incestuous Gaunt family. There was a lot of research about World War II and when the bombings would have been happening in London, because Tom lived through that era, but it was unclear as to the timeline as to whether or not he would have been in the city at the time of Blitzkrieg or not. So that was a huge situation. There was a lot of random research I had to do about maternal mortality in reference to Merope, which is what I call her because I'm insane. There was like a lot of like tidbits and pieces I had to take from different studies at different places, and a lot of really, really wonderful work done by other Harry Potter scholars and other academic articles that were made, strangely enough, about Tom in some cases, and about just random either cult leaders or people who suffer with narcissistic personality disorder or ASPD, which would include psychopathy and sociopathy, which is what they're colloquially known as. The terms change a lot. I think right now the most popular one, umbrella term, is ASPD, so antisocial personality disorder. So there's like a lot of different mental things that I had to research. A lot of implications from Tom's backstory that I had to make sure that I set down and as much in stone as I could. Being someone who's just theorizing, nothing is really set in stone.
That impressed me so much when I was reading the manuscript. You did so much real world research for this book. Like, it wasn't just diving into the Potter text. Like, I learned so much about, yeah, incest and,
The stuff you
psychopathy.
didn't want to know about, right?
I mean, no, I was so
Yeah.
happy to know it.
Yeah. I remember at one point I was so deep, like I was trying to get into read through this one article that was specifically about the genetic makeup of like animal husbandry. Because Merope and Tom Riddle Sr. had Tom Riddle Jr. And I was like, would that have really lessened the load on his mind, like having that new batch of genetics? So that was a whole bit of research I had to do. It was almost impossible to get to the bottom of it. It was inconclusive evidence, so I couldn't include it. Because, like, animal husbandry just doesn't connect because you're not judging animals by the same deal. It's insane. It's insane the kind of stuff that I had to get into to try to reason through it. But I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I think that it really broadened my mind, especially in terms of what I knew about World War II. That was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. So, in the course of research and writing the book, what
Mhm.
surprised you the most in the process? And I want two answers to that. What surprised you the most about Tom himself? Like, what did you sort of discover or realize as you worked on this book? And what surprised you the most about the process of writing said book?
Oh my God. I think this wasn't like a surprise to me, but what comes up immediately in my head is how difficult the editing process can be. Because the
Hmm.
editing and the writing process was rough for me, and this is like a story that you've heard a million times, but I'm happy to tell any of the readers and listeners about this. I wrote this book. I was postpartum when I was writing a good chunk of it, so that was the first draft of it was done about 3 months after my son was born. I started up writing again. So like I had about the first half of it written and I was like, I'm not stopping now. It has to get done. I've promised that this is going to happen and it is by God, it's going to happen. So I was in this state of mind where I was like, weirdly enough, I was relating a lot to Lily. So like writing about the like my thoughts constantly on Tom and writing this story when it wasn't of course taking care of my son. I was like writing about this story when I had any free time, which was rare. And then I was thinking about like, oh my God, like Lily was in this position where she was dodging this man's ideology. She was taking care of her child and terrified that this man was going to come after her. And it really gave me some good perspective as to how terrifying. He's still my favorite character, but how sincerely terrifying he is. So I think it gave me a lot of empathy for characters I didn't think could be connected to before. Also with Molly, just mothers in the series, holy hell. I think the way that Tom surprised me was in how very strong he is, but in other ways how delicate he is. Like I guess that wasn't a huge surprise to me, but he's very very strangely childlike. He really really needs these boundaries that he doesn't want to admit to having. Like I put forth this theory in the book that the reason that he's so fixated on both Harry and Dumbledore is that Dumbledore provides one boundary that he never had, which is saying that you can't rule over everything. You cannot have everything. I'm stopping you here. This is your boundary. Parents are supposed to provide boundaries. This is the first boundary that someone's been able to put on him. So he takes away his control over the entire situation. He manages to take that away from him. Harry takes away his ability to be immortal. So like he's very fixated on having control over his lifespan, making it infinite. Harry takes that away from him. Another boundary set in his life, which is technically what parents are supposed to do. So in butting up against both of these walls, the 7 books of the series is almost like a gargantuan temper tantrum. It's him just butting up against these walls over and over again saying, I want this. I want this. This will make me feel better. When really it won't make him feel better. Strangely enough, the 2 parents in this situation, Harry and Albus, actually know better and they put these barriers there unknowingly, but it will be better for him. That's what surprised me most. And I don't say this to deride him, to actually make him seem lesser, but he's actually very childlike in that way. He puts on such a grand show, but like he's very much a child internally, like emotionally. He doesn't have the ability to get past it. And I find that to be more sad than it is like funny, you know? I think a lot of people might make a joke out of that, but I find that really depressing.
Hmm. You brought up Voldemort being obsessed with Harry, which
Mhm.
reminds me of one of my all-time favorite Wizrock songs, the
Yeah.
Parselmouth's "My Obsession," which is so good. And so they sing sort of from Voldemort's perspective about why he's so obsessed with that Potter kid. So I wanted to follow up with you. Do you think his obsession with Harry is purely as an obstacle to his immortality, like you say, and it's not really about who Harry is? Or is there something about Harry himself as a person that gets his goat beyond just the magical barrier that he presents?
It's like both, though, right? I think that at least in part it is the barrier that Harry poses. It's also the fact that Harry is like, in my opinion, this is the way that I theorized it. It started with the fixation with Dumbledore. Dumbledore chose Harry more as like the son that he would have wanted anyway. So Dumbledore already rejected Tom from the beginning. So any attempt by Tom to try to connect to Dumbledore would have been rejected, I theorize, especially at that time in Dumbledore's life when he is very much distracted by the war with Grindelwald. I don't think that he has time to look out for a tiny, creepy little 11-year-olds running around Hogwarts. But if Tom had connected with Dumbledore in a way that might have been someone looking for some sort of approval or some sort of connection, it just wasn't going to happen. And then it does happen with someone like Harry, who's like the chosen son. So if you're looking for like parental connections, those two have far more of a parental connection than someone like Albus and Tom. But I think furthermore, like going back to Harry, I'm talking too much about Dumbledore again. Going back to Harry has, I feel like this is pounded into my head through every lesson. It's like he has the love of his mother. And like that's so important to everything that surrounds his character. But it's even more important when considering that someone like Tom, it's almost like he carelessly speaks about his mother's sacrifice, like Merope dying in order for Tom to be born, is something that he doesn't really consider. But this is also something that I think would have helped him a great deal in the long run. And I think in seeing the way that Harry is protected, it's a continual reminder of that. The fact that he has this magical protection and this emotional stability that first year of life and the first year of care kind of brought to him. I think something about that grinds his gears, where he's like, no, I'm just as functional, I'm just as powerful, and I'm going to prove it by killing you, which is probably not the way to go. I think that Harry just symbolizes to Tom all of the things that he doesn't understand. And he keeps trying to butt up against it to say that I'm better than it and I don't need it. In the same way that when he approaches Dumbledore and says, I have not seen any evidence of love being the most powerful force in the world. Like, I think both of those things go hand in hand.
Okay, good stuff.
Thank you. I can almost see the theories behind your eyes coming in when you're like, I wanna jump in with my own feedback. I'd love to hear it, honestly.
No, this is about you. This is about you and your Voldemort.
It's
Focus,
here.
Greg.
Yes, it's crazy. I love talking with you about your theories, though.
Yes, and we shall. So, actually, I think one of the theories where we kind of align is on Voldemort's, I guess, lack of youthful indiscretions. There's actually been some very spicy debates in my little corner of the fandom about this lately. You mentioned Tom running around in his school years. And so the question is, as he was running around, was there any romance? The answer is no, but was there any sex?
What fan fiction are we talking about?
Well, Riddle PM in Ode to Voldemort claims that it's no wonder that he had no teenage romance. And I've always thought that he is so thoroughly asexual that he sort of never wanted any part of it. But other people claim that sort of sexual dominance would have been part of his toolkit, especially when he was younger. So I am eager to get your perspective. Do you think Tom Riddle ever had sex in his life?
Oh, wow. Now, I'm just going to say this off the top of the conversation. I also believe that he's ace. Even if he did have sex when he was young, I don't think that was something that he was interested in, like, pursuing in a very serious way. So, like, all the fan fiction that are very much invested in, like, the idea of his, like, sexual dominance and the fact that he has, like, all of these partners. I'm not saying that you're wrong for saying something like that. There's no way I could, right? Like, go ahead, have fun. Like, we're all sort of, like, deviating from the text in certain ways or making assumptions from what we see. What I base my theories in is that when we see Tom trying to dominate people, the way that he does it isn't trying to be alluring to them typically. It's usually trying to be friendly, especially when he's in the state where you would consider him, like, very good-looking, very appealing to someone. Constantly, we come back to the fact that, like, he's trying to become someone's confidant, rather than their lover, which, like, one could reason that it could be one and the same. But I feel like, especially with the later books, there might have been an implication of that. Like, especially in the 6th book, there might have been an implication of something like that happening. And we never quite see it. We always see him taking a very either professional stance when it comes to Hepzibah Smith. Even with the flowers, I will say, like, even with him showing up on time, he says very clearly and mechanically that he's only there for work. So please stop, you know?
Oh yeah, you and I got into it about the Hepzibah Smith
yeah.
scene. I remember we had some spicy disagreements on that.
We did. And we're allowed to disagree on it because this is the nature of the work. But then you see him with Ginny and with the Grey Lady, where it's like he's very much just like is making himself their best friend, their confidant. What I think though, when people are implying that like he has this sort of like sexual prowess and this sort of allure with other people, they're actually thinking of cult leaders, which like that's not too far off from what Tom is. And a lot of people who have ASPD will look to dominate others in terms of like sexual prowess. They'll look to like have as many partners as they possibly can and fool them all into thinking that they're the one, right? You'll find a lot of stories with cult leaders. Me and my husband even sort of play this game when we watch like a cult documentary. When is the weird sex stuff coming in? Which will probably be about 5 to 10 minutes into the documentary. Something weird is going on. It's never mentioned. It's not implied. There's a longing when it comes to Bellatrix, but you never see it reciprocated. And I think that people would butt up against me when I say something like that, especially people who ship the two of them. And that's completely fine. I think that that's a perfectly okay reading. But I am reading for this character specifically. And from what I see in the books, I'm not seeing a romantic connection. So I don't think that romance or sex is a huge part in Tom's life. But I also really love like people's artistic and like fan fiction theories about how everything works. So like I don't want people to think I'm poo-pooing on them, right? I love a good ship, you know? I ship everything with Tom. So I'm not here trying to be like, no, Bella and Tom, or like, no, none of that. I feel like it's a lot of fun.
Do you believe that when he comes back in Goblet of Fire, he has Voldy bits?
I don't know. I got asked this question on Tumblr. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this. I hadn't even thought of that.
Grace, you're gonna need to have an answer as you're promoting the book.
Jeez. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes for the benefit of the Bellamort shippers. I'm gonna say yes, okay?
Yeah. Bess, you were nodding serenely. Do you have a take you want to share?
No, I just think that that is an important question for, you know, our lead Voldemort scholar.
Oh my god! Yeah. I was expecting the other questions. This one hit me sideways.
Well, yeah, because it seems like it's such a settled thing. Like, who honestly still thinks he has Voldy bits? Like, I agree. I'm surprised it keeps coming up.
It's crazy. It is wild.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I've gotten this question twice and I wasn't prepared for it now. So I'll put this in the little mental bank. I need to make sure I have something.
Also, I'm just saying, I don't think he has Voldy bits. I think
you don't think so?
No.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? It's like if he's God, not to get gross, but like if he's not eating or drinking, because like we see him hold a glass of wine, but we don't really see him sip it at the Malfoy mansion, do we? Does he sip it, or did I forget?
No.
Yeah, he holds the glass of wine or something, but he doesn't drink it.
The only time I believe we see him imbibe is during Lord Voldemort's request, when he asks Dumbledore for a job.
Yeah, so if he's not eating or drinking, you know what? You might be right.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I've convinced the Voldemort expert.
I could be swayed, okay? I could be swayed. Here I am thinking about like the literary symbolism of masks and mirrors, and here you are like, does he have a dick? I don't know.
I'm asking what the people really want to know.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that question. That's exactly what I should have been prepared for. I'm gonna say for the benefit of the audience, absolutely he does. And you can quote me on it, damn it.
Oh, and we will. At length, some might say.
Well, there's my pull quote.
I'm dying. It's gonna be like on the Amazon page, it's gonna be like, and he has a dick. Grayscale
Yeah,
deviation.
big bold letters. ...
You can quote me on that.
Yeah, have you always wondered if Voldemort has a dick? Read this book to find out.
Oh God, I could be swayed in the other. Okay, we got to move on from this question because I'm gonna keep like reconsidering myself. Oh no,
Yeah,
we're thinking
I'm
too
just gonna
hard
get a
about it.
text at 2 a.m. being like, so I've been thinking about this.
I did some research.
Okay, let's go back to the cult leader thing. And Voldemort as a sort of leader of this, I mean, it's not a cult. Gadding with Ghouls has this excellent song called The Office of Tom Riddle, where they make it seem that Voldemort, is quite the effective bureaucrat and organization leader. But whenever I think about him, it's this weird dichotomy where, on the one hand, he seems remarkably effective as a leader, like, in terms of, like, getting people to do what he wants, like, trying to achieve his objectives. But on the other hand, like, he makes such elementary mistakes. And he utterly fails to command any loyalty from his Death Eaters, which I feel like is sort of the most straightforward and simple mark of a good leader. So, what do you think of his leadership style? Where do you come down in Tom as a leader?
I mean, it always comes down to his ability to connect with people. He calls the Death Eaters his family. And he's like very certain of that fact. He said, my family, he always calls to his family members. He refers to his close friends as family members in Chamber of Secrets, I believe, but most definitely in Goblet of Fire. I think that he found it really offensive when they abandoned him. And that was one thing that really, really stuck with him, because abandonment is like one of those issues that really, really lingers in his mind. His ability to trust people is limited by when he assumes they're going to leave him behind. So he has these family members that he's depending on, that he wants to connect with, but he can't let them get close enough to actually connect with him. In a strange way, this kind of connects to Dumbledore a little bit, because Dumbledore has a great deal of love for the people around him, but he doesn't let them get close enough to truly know him, because that could bring him pain. So when he passes away, a lot of them know these different, like, sort of shadows of Dumbledore. You see them knowing, like, the Dumbledore from school, the Dumbledore from the past. The only one who seems to have a more multifaceted view of Dumbledore is perhaps Minerva. Not that we have a conversation with him, but for sure his brother, who knows like all these different aspects of him and has had a connection with him all through his life, albeit it was fraught, but he had a connection with him. When you have someone talk about Tom, it's something similar as to them only knowing this one shade of him and him not letting them further in. So I feel like his lack of leadership is hinged on the fact that he won't let people close enough to him. So it's like, in general, it's an inability to connect with humanity because he fears being abandoned by them, which he is because he can't connect with humanity. So it's this mean cycle. It also, in this strange way, because he suffers from ASPD, he like has this inability to like understand empathy. He makes other people around him suffer for it. So he wields fear to the effect that Dumbledore wields warmth. So that, I feel like the threat of him is strong enough. The threat of like how violent he can become and how unpredictable and how powerful he is effective enough in leadership to make him like sort of like rise the ranks, for sort of like move forward with like all of his plans, even if he has a fraction of his power. So I guess, like, did I deviate from the question too much? How much of an effective leader do I see him as?
I mean, no, that's great analysis. Voldemort and Dumbledore are sort of like completely like sort of polar opposite like leadership archetypes. Like it,
Yeah.
right, the old quote of, is it better to be loved or feared?
Yeah.
They are just the complete opposites of that spectrum. Voldemort is all in on he is feared as a leader. Dumbledore is all in on he is loved as a leader. Neither of them let people in or trust them,
Yeah.
but they just absolutely like rely on that one thing, the fear and the love, to sort
Mhm.
of have their underlings do what is asked of them. And I mean, I would argue Dumbledore's way works better, but we've been having that debate as a society since Machiavelli wrote The Prince 500 years ago.
I would also argue that Dumbledore's works better because, well, I mean, Tom's is born of fear anyway, so you could see it every single time he's trying to, like, get his forces in line, get his family to do his bidding. He wants, like, there's a part of him, even in calling them family, there's a part of him that wants to connect and depend on them, and there's another stronger part of him that knows that they will eventually abandon him, so he has to keep them afraid. So I think his leadership abilities are always going to be hindered by that, and they'll always be hindered by the fact that he like, we even see it in his mind. He sees that he can't trust the people around him because when he did, they failed him. Because trusting people also means that he has to be willing to accept when they fall short of his expectations, right? Like Bella and Lucius both fell short of their expectations a few times. Well, Bella, I only think was like, what, no, twice, because she was part of the force that attacked the Ministry of Magic. But he has to be willing to accept when they have failures. He has to be willing to feel empathy for the moments where they are low. And it's just very difficult for him to do something like that. So he doesn't have any second in command, which is why that leadership ability, for as effective as it is when he's there, when he's not there, it's going in all directions, you know? There's
Yeah.
no second, there's nothing that he can depend on. Even his strongest lieutenants won't be able to function without him.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, and like any typical narcissist,
Hmm.
when they fail, it's because, like, they weren't good enough. Whenever he
Hmm.
fails, it's, oh, luck and chance, which ruined all but the best laid plans. Like, he
Yes,
doesn't
but
hold
also,
himself accountable, but he absolutely holds them accountable for every failure.
for sure, but I think that's the truth, like, a good chunk of the time. There is one circumstance that I found really interesting. I think it's because, like, this it's in he's speaking of something that happened in retrospect that he's already gotten over, so he's very much accepting of his failures in this case. Oh, actually 2, I guess. He blames himself when it comes to Harry. He said, "I should have foreseen this." So it's
Yeah.
not even luck. He should have known the magic that was there. And number 2 is when Quirrell fails. He takes responsibility for Quirrell's failure, which is insane to me. When I read that, I was like, it's the perfect moment for him to literally just shove it on Quirrell, who's already dead. But he literally says, it was my plan that failed.
Hmm.
It's insane to me. It's wild. It's why I think, like, if Quirrell had survived, I think he would have made Quirrell a Death Eater. Like one of the
Yeah.
inner circle ones, which is crazy because no one ever talks about Quirrell.
Yeah. But no, I really love your point that basically, like, he has no second in command to rely on. So the minute he's out, like, the whole thing goes to shit. Because, like,
Collapses, yeah.
when we see Dumbledore die, like, there's sort of this sense that he's obviously irreplaceable, but that
Mhm.
everyone is sort of very willing to try and is very clear on who should be trying, right? They're like,
Yeah.
McGonagall steps in to run the school. She calls up the heads of houses. Harry is in charge
Mhm.
of the Horcrux hunt. Moody is kind of in charge of the Order of the Phoenix. And it's sort of like, who Dumbledore trusted, what he would have wanted, and sort of everyone is like, okay, and we're gonna do our best for Dumbledore. And with Voldemort, as soon as he's gone, it's like, well,
Yeah.
never mind.
It's strange because for killing Dumbledore, it's like cutting off the head of a hydra because there's, like, 10 others that'll pop up. They might not be as powerful as the one, but, like, there's still a lot of things that the Order of the Phoenix can rely on. Meanwhile, when it's something like killing Tom, it's like the basilisk, you know? It ends up one hit will, I mean, it's a bunch of Horcruxes, but once he goes down, his ideology doesn't go with him, but his forces do kind of fall apart. I think that's the
Yeah.
that's the real tragedy of, like, how I see it as the end of the book is, like, I don't see a huge, like, ton of reform. I feel like another Tom could crop up if they're not careful, which is the infrastructure of the world that they live in, but they would have to make some pretty big shifts in order to make sure that didn't happen again.
Okay, so we've talked about Voldemort as a leader, but let's talk about Voldemort as a house guest. Now, the Blibbering Humdingers claim that he is a terrible house guest, and they even say that he never pitches in for the pizza on Dark Lord Sleeping on My Sofa. So, Grace, if Tom turned up on your doorstep late one rainy night, would you let him crash on your couch?
If he showed up at my doorstep, would I let him crash? Oh my god. What a question. I'm an Italian, so you can't turn away a house guest, okay? And make sure that he's fed and he's got a place to stay as long as he doesn't threaten us. I think, well, in terms of like how he is as a house guest, I've wondered about this myself because we don't really get any indication as to like what he's like aside from the fact that like the Malfoy family is straight up stressed. They are having a bad time. So I assume, and like this is just me like sort of theorizing from the small amount that we get, I think he's a scary house guest. Not to be uncreative about this, but I think whatever magic he's working has side effects. And those side effects on the area are not pleasant. So I don't know if it's your conventional bad house guest thing where it's like, oh, you messed up the bathroom, or like you didn't clean up the kitchen after you like had whatever, or you didn't pay for I know it's a joke.
On the table.
I know, you didn't clean up after the snake. There's so much blood. There's so much blood, Tom. You know how hard it is to get out of a carpet. For God's sake. I have a feeling that, like, my personal theory is because he was traveling so much to find the Elder Wand, he was rarely ever at the Malfoy mansion. But the threat of him being there was terrifying enough that, like, when he appeared without warning, without announcement, it was a whole thing. It was very, very upsetting. And then on top of that, when he was there, the kind of magic that he would be working in order to either, like, I don't know, fuel his power or like make sure he was sustained for the next journey, meditation of some dark meditation to make sure that like he had the power to do A, B, and C. I don't know. Like whatever he's doing had an effect on the household that was horrible. My horror movie mind is coming up with theories that are like there's just like horrible ghosts around, or like there's terrifying like projections of things that have happened in the past, just like horror movie logic, but in the Malfoy household is what I'm thinking.
Makes sense to me.
If you've played through any horror games, that's what I'm imagining. Like if you've played through Layers of Fear, to anyone in the audience who does horror games, that's okay. That's all right. It's for me and maybe one other person listening. Picture that, just like some very, very scary, haunting things that like don't necessarily make sense, and then you wake up from it and you don't know how you got there. It's like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the thing that like I revel in this kind of stuff. I love horror movies in a weird way because like I know that I used to hate them for years and years, but like thinking of these theories is kind of like delving into that sort of wicked, strange, yet like once you're done with it, that delightful relief that comes with it. I'm certain that was with the Malfoy family once everything was over, like the relief of not having to deal with like the lingering effects of dark magic in their household was probably a thing. They're like, I thought we had dark artifacts before. Girl, no, you did not. You did not.
Okay, let's stay on the horror beat then. So in Voldemort is Awesome, Draco and the Malfoys sing, Voldy, won't you teach me about Horcruxes? So Grace, I'm going to put the same question to you. Won't you teach us about Horcruxes? Do you have any theories about how one makes a Horcrux?
God, I feel like what I have to say about it has probably been said before, but I'm going to review as to like what we know from the text. You have to prepare object for it to enter, and you have to kill someone in order to cut off part of your soul. There's like some debate between us specifically, you and me, Irvin. There's been some debate about how long, how much you can wait before that process can take place. So my wording in the book is kind of specific in that I'm like, the Horcrux could have been made at this point in time. We don't know for sure if like the soul can be tied to that object, if it has to be an immediate thing, or maybe like Tom can take it home and like his soul is already chopped in a certain way so he can spend a bit of time preparing more for the situation, or like wait until it's most convenient for that to happen. So it's not really like set in stone, the timing of the events, but you can see it. I think with Tom specifically, I love the idea that like in the beginning of this process, he's very prepared. He's like, oh, the first one's gonna be father, and it's gonna be this very specific object, and I'm gonna prepare everything, and I'm gonna have a fall guy, and I feel like as he keeps going with these objects, it keeps getting a little crazy. It's like, I just need to kill someone. I just need to kill someone right now because I need to make a Horcrux. I need an extra one. And then it keeps going on and on and on until he's like, okay, I'm just gonna kill Bertha and I need to put it into Nagini, I guess. I like the idea of him going crazy. I know that there's symbolism to every single bit of it, and I actually put forth the theory that the reason that he chose Nagini is because it makes her immortal, not because like she's going to perish someday, so it makes no sense that he would have it in a living being. But he would want her by his side for the rest of his immortal life. But I also love the mental picture of Tom scrambling towards the end of the series to find new objects to put his soul in, just grabbing things.
Yeah, be like, ooh, this toaster could be a majestic and important toaster if I put my soul in it.
God. Yeah, he loves his freaking trophies. Like, it has to be important, but like the deaths become less important as he goes on.
Yeah, I mean, by the end when he kills Frank Bryce to make Nagini a Horcrux, it's just like,
Yeah.
whoever's here.
Yeah. And also, I put forth a theory with the Horcruxes that Myrtle was a mistake. There's a bunch of aspects of that murder specifically that sort of like set off little warning bells in my head. Because typically Tom is such a fastidious person that like he has all of his ducks in a row. He makes sure that there's a fall guy ahead of time. He makes sure that there's going to be no evidence of him. And the fact that like the ghost of Myrtle, not only does she linger, but she says that she heard a man talking in the women's room, and she was about to go out and talk to him. He would have never let himself be heard, and he would have never tried to target someone who would come back as a ghost. Like all of these things, these tiny little aspects don't quite align. He didn't even have a fall guy before Myrtle's murder. So Myrtle, I feel like, was never planned for, but she was just this situation that he took advantage of once it happened anyway. The fact that he didn't do it himself, he had the basilisk do it. I think that was all a mistake. I think it was all a whoopsie daisy.
I remember when I read that theory in your draft, and that might have been really the first moment when my mind was blown, and I was like, yes. Oh my god, that makes so much sense. This writer is brilliant.
Oh, thank you. That's very fun. But yeah, I think that was
that theory. So good.
That was one of the situations where I was like, she's not significant because he hadn't even meant for her to be there. He's just trying to get the snake back in. Or out. I don't know what he was doing. Oh, Tom, what were you doing? What are you doing, buddy? If you could have a Horcrux, what would it be?
Well, I do have an answer ready for this, and I will show the two of you, and just tell the rest of my listeners. So, I'm sure you're all familiar with Puffs, the play off Broadway about the Hufflepuffs. So when the show closed, they made me a gift of the Whiz Priz sign used in the show.
Oh my god!
And then on the back, they all signed it and wrote messages for me.
Oh my god, that's so sweet. See, this is perfect.
While it seems a little bit wrong to take something as wholesome as Puffs and turn it into a Horcrux, that would in fact be my Horcrux.
I think that your choice of object, though, aligns with a theory that I had where it's like, there's a lot of questions online and a lot of funny little theories where it's like, why didn't he make a Horcrux into a grain of sand and throw it in the ocean, blah, 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 like that. Yep. I feel like that's, I've heard a lot of this, and I think it's very funny and it's very fun. But my theory is that you actually can't make it into something that isn't significant to you. Like, you have to have an emotional connection to what you're doing. So if you don't have a serious emotional connection to your grain of sand, it ain't happening, Chief. You can't connect your soul to it. and you can never regret the death of whatever happened, because if you regret it, you're done-ski, my man.
Huh. That's yeah. I'd
It makes a lot
never
more sense.
considered that. I never considered that because I just assume Voldemort is a messy drama queen and that explains everything.
I mean, he is, but
Yeah, but I kinda like that because that does fit in with how, like, when it gets to this sort of, like, very dark, very horrible, evil magic, like, emotion and intent seems to matter a lot more.
oh
So,
yeah.
I really like that, actually.
It just makes sense in retrospect, because like, maybe, like, if that hadn't been the rule, I could see him using a few trophies as Horcruxes, but at a certain point, his, like, fail-safe probably would've been something like, copper Knut or whatever, then just
Right,
throw it
you
into
like,
the
you take a
industry. Yeah.
boulder, you toss it in the sea, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I need to email my publisher. We need to issue a new edition of Dumbledore where I take out that line. So I'm get on that when we're done here.
Well, while I email the publisher about, like, editing the one section that I saw all that stuff in that I wanted to edit.
Dear
Oh god.
topics, we need to completely change the
We
Dumbledore
got it.
book. Please blame Grace.
I'll read the new one too,
Yeah.
because I love it.
Well, okay, so talk of objects that are, important for Voldemort. In
Mhm.
All I Want for Christmas, Draco and the Malfoys sing about their Christmas wish list, which they address to Voldemort instead of Santa Claus. So what do you think Voldemort's ideal Christmas gift would be?
Oh my god. Well, I feel like this is a weird thing about the character and a theory that I've just kind of gone with from how I've read Tom, but I don't think that he lets himself enjoy things anymore. I think that he sees it as beneath him, and he sees it as too human. But I feel like if we were to speak with that secret inner part of himself, as to like things that he may actually enjoy and just refuses to let himself enjoy it, I theorize that music might be a thing that he once did really find comfort in, because I think as someone who has an inability to connect with the human experience in a way of that empathetic part of your brain, it makes it really hard to understand the people around you. So music is something that speaks to the human mind energetically without having to use like words, or it speaks to emotions that you didn't even know that you had. It connects people in a way that takes away like Tom having to try to do that math internally. If you listen to a lot of people who say that they're sociopaths, and I've gone through the psychopath test and say that they're psychopaths as well, a lot of them confess that they're exhausted by having to act that like they're normal. Like they cite that they have to force themselves to blink more often to make people around them more comfortable. They have to force themselves to emote because they don't have that instinct to connect in that same way. I feel like listening to music cuts off that like hard reality of like him being forced to connect with people, and he can just go ahead and enjoy it. So I feel like music might be one of those things that he might have enjoyed at one point. So maybe classical, maybe like jazz was really big in the 30s. That might have been something that he grew up with and like listened to adjacently. He probably didn't have any records growing up. He might have just heard it from someone else's, I don't know, flat in London. I don't know. I feel like there's a music connection if he would allow himself to have it, but I don't think he does. So his perfect Christmas would be him feeling safe, and that is something that just doesn't exist for him. Oh god, that's depressing. Let's make it happier. He gets his music. Let's just give Tom some music and pretend like that's a happy Christmas for him.
Well, that works. We're on a WizRock podcast, so yeah, we should absolutely give Tom music for Christmas. You think he's a jazz fan?
I mean, my own violin playing self would like to think that he's a classical fan. But hey, they're jazz violins. I just feel like for the era, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like the jazz was probably the big thing. It was very, very popular at that time. So if like anybody was listening to jazz, they were cool cats, you know?
Yeah. What is the one Wizard Rock song you think Tom would really enjoy listening to?
Oh my god. Oh god. Let me look. There was one that I was listening to, not it's just earlier on yesterday. Oh god. Don't Make It Hard? But I'm trying to look up the person who sang it because they're amazing. One second. I'm almost there. There we go. Oliver Boyd and the Remember-Alls. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that might be one, but that's also, I feel like my own preference is bleeding into that a little bit. I just really like that song.
Oh, that's the kind of yeah.
It's very haunting. It's very fun. Yes. I think there's a certain, if he were to let himself enjoy music, because I freaking love music, I feel like there would be an appreciation for the more powerful classical pieces. Yeah. Something that feels overwhelming. I like my brain says like Lacrimosa, but like of course that song is freaking everywhere right now. There's another one that I was obsessed with just recently. It's like so freaking good. Here I am doing classical stuff on a Wizard Rock podcast. I'm sorry, you guys. This is a bit of a deviation. I also listen to a lot of like video game soundtracks. So that was kind of cool. Is this it? Oh, it's Dies Irae? God, I'm butchering it. Where are you at? Come on. Yeah, what's the... I know that one song. I'm trying to find the composer for it. Oh, yes, it is. It's Verdi. It's the Messa di... Can I play it real quick?
Sure.
Is this it? Yeah, it is. Okay. That one. I'm sure that you guys know it already, right? Yes,
no,
I
prefer more Wizard Rock than classical music.
There's also my own personal favorite composer is Camille Saint-Saëns, and one of his violin solos is the introduction to the Rondo Capriccioso. Always reminds me of Tom. So I should send it over to you guys for funsies. But you don't have to put it on the podcast. People aren't here for something like that. I love it though, and I feel like it's so multifaceted and fun, and like kind of sounds like kind of wicked and playful, and like it toys with your emotions. I reminded me of Tom for sure.
We know what Voldemort's ideal gift is. Do we think he gives Christmas presents to his Death Eaters, or do you think Draco is just barking up the wrong tree, sending in his wish list?
Oh God. Depends on the Death Eater. This is the thing, right? My theory about the Malfoys, and you're probably going to disagree with me, and I love that about you.
You're wrong.
My theory about Draco specifically is that Tom is trying to mold him into the next generation of Death Eaters. I think that's pretty clear. Like he keeps trying to train him and break him. I also think that if Draco were to give him a Christmas list, I think he would consider giving him something from that list, because he's trying to endear himself and make it seem as though he's more of a father figure than his father is. So this is a theory of mine, so it doesn't really have a ton of basis here. I think that behind the scenes, he's trying to convince Draco that his family are basically like becoming like less powerful, like they're less dependable, and that he needs to depend more on Tom instead. So he's saying like, hope is kind of lost with your parents. They're not very powerful. You really should lean more in this direction, because they're either going to hold you back or you're going to be forced to support them. But there's like no basis for that theory, mind you. This is just like, I feel like their personal interactions, because Draco seems so charmed with him at the beginning of the year, and then I feel like at a certain point, I don't know if Tom spoke with him and he's starting to lose his patience, but Draco's starting to see behind that veneer, where Tom is just like trying to say like, I need results and you're not getting them, and look, your parents are dead weight, one of them's gonna have to go if you don't start moving. So I think that's when he starts to get the idea, oh my God, he's gonna kill my mom, he's gonna kill my dad, I have to do something, he's gonna kill me, like I need to move.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I feel like he might get something for Draco. I feel like if like Avery came up to him and was like, I could use a new set of quills, I feel like Tom would slap him in the face.
Yes. All right, see, now I really want a Whitrock song from Voldemort's perspective responding to Draco. I got you a firebolt, I got you a wand, Hermione woke up to find Crookshanks gone, and just, you're gonna give everything on the list.
All right, magical friends, you heard the man.
Oh man, bless your creative souls, I want to hear it.
Well, I've been interviewing you all this time, but Riddle TM has this incredible song called Interview with Voldemort. So I'm wondering, Grace, if you had the same opportunity that Riddle TM does, what is the one question you would ask Tom?
Oh God, well, I would do more than that. I would insist that before we did the interview, he gave himself a week to eat and sleep. Both of these things will help with the mood. So a week beforehand, and then finally I'll have him sit down for the interview. What would I ask him though? Jeez. Oof. I think it might be the first time that I would ask, like, I would very seriously ask someone, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? I know that seems like a really stupid, like, hey, how's it going? Like a really stupid question to ask. And it might not seem poignant, but it might be a very long time since someone just asked him quite genuinely, how are you? And forcing him to turn inward and like ask himself, how am I feeling? And not say that's an irrelevant question, I need to move forward. Like being forced to answer, like, how are you? I feel like that might actually be something that would, I don't know if it would shake him, but it would definitely definitely make him pause.
Grace, you know what that makes me think of, and this is so ridiculous? Meghan Markle, back when she was like newly joined the royal family, she and Harry were doing a tour around Africa, like helping impoverished people and so on. And so at one point she like sits down for an interview with a reporter about all her charity work. And so he opens with, how are you doing? And she starts with, you know, no one's asked me if I'm okay. And I just picture Tom responding exactly the way Meghan Markle did. Just waiting for someone
like,
to ask that.
You know what? No one said that to me. I love it. It's perfect.
Yes.
If I had to ask him one question, I think that would be it. If I had to think of more questions off the dome, you're going to have to wait for me to make a thesis about this, because I have no idea beyond that what I would say.
Okay, you know what? I might ask you this question again at your book launch. We'll see if you have a couple more answers ready for me by then.
A few more? God. I would ask him how the week of meals was and how different it was to try to take care of himself for once. I honestly don't think he's like eaten or slept in years. I just don't think so. I don't think that's the way that he functions anymore.
I relate to so much now.
We connect some. We're the same, him and I.
Really though, hashtag relatable. Hey, listeners,
he's a girl boss.
I was at a convention last weekend, so, you know, no eating or sleeping happened.
Jeez. Oh no, I couldn't pull that off anymore. There's no way. I would die. I would perish.
It's getting harder with the years.
I am so impressed. I mean, you're younger than me, so this makes sense, but like, I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I'm really beginning to feel that I'm not as young as I once was. Okay, great. So, Priorian Cantatum sings in their song It's My Life, from Tom's perspective, it's my life, it's now or never, I just want to live forever. So,
well, yeah.
What do you think is the point of no return? When was it now or never for Tom to get his shit together and turn it all around? Or do you think there was a point of no return, or was there hope to the bitter, bitter end?
Oh God. Look, this is the thing. When I started this book, I thought that the point of no return would have been like his early teens. And I actually put forth that theory in the book. I was like, if anyone was going to move in, if it was going to be Slughorn or like Dumbledore or someone was going to try to connect with him, now's the time. And I remember I got notes back from Lori, and she was like, "Isn't it strange that you're pointing this out? Like there's a specific time that Tom can be saved. Like, aren't you making the reasoning that he's human? Like, doesn't that mean that he can be saved, period?" And I sat with that and I thought about it for a really long time. And I was like, it's really hard to think of Tom when he's as far gone as he is later on in life and be like, well, maybe you can turn it around. Maybe you could like be reasoned with at some point. And after thinking about it for a really long time, I think I side with Lori on this, where I am the perpetual optimist and saying that he's only savable before he starts to do these truly horrendous things, I think is diminishing the spirit of humanity. I feel like he could turn it around up until the very end. And I think that Harry's conversation with him is telling, and that he's trying to connect to Tom's humanity and say, like, now is the time if you're going to try to do anything. You got to leave this battle, or you have to really think about what you've done. And I think that the fact that Tom doesn't have the wherewithal to do that at that point is very depressing to me. But also it shows that like it's worth it to try right up until the end. It's worth it to believe in people, even if it doesn't turn out the way that you're hoping. Because it's everyone's worth the faith, I feel like. Even someone like that, even towards that horrible end that happened. I think I'd rather be called a foolish optimist than anything else. Like, it's fine. It's fine if you think that's like foolishly optimistic. I don't mind carrying that moniker because I really do want to believe in the hope in humanity.
Yeah, surprising no one, I disagree with Lori, and therefore you. I think I side with Dumbledore on this one,
Hmm.
where there came a point where he was all out of chances, and Dumbledore was like, I don't think we're gonna get through to him. I don't think this can be fixed. I think he just needs to be stopped.
Well, this is the interesting aspect of this is that I think towards thinking about the book and like the entire study that I did, I recognized something in myself. I was like, what is this? What is humanity that I'm looking for? What is this? And I think that every human is deserving of empathy, but they're also very deserving of accountability. So I think that when someone says something like, I think that people can turn around and they're deserving of empathy, I think what a lot of people expect are going to be the next words out of your mouth are, and so we should let them walk free. Like that's not precisely what I'm getting at here. I think that Tom should be held accountable for his actions, but I also believe that he is worthy of empathy by the fact that he is living.
Now, given that he is like 1/64th living, is he worth 1/64th the amount of empathy?
That's another theory I get into. We talk about this. I don't think that I theorize a little bit differently than you do in this way. I don't think the Horcruxes I've left him as 1/64th of a human. Though I think that there's a lot
I
of
mean,
different
if
ways of
you
thinking
had
about
to
the
put a
Horcruxes.
number on it.
I mean, at risk of using a term that is outside of the seven books, the master soul, quote unquote, like what I theorize is the largest chunk of soul is within him still. There's just pieces of him on the outside. So, like, I think that if we're gonna put a number to it, like, God, he's probably like still got 80% of his soul. He just breaks off little chunks
Wow.
of it and pops it in little places that you're not expecting. In all of his like lovely like the diary and the tiara and all of his little jewelry bits.
See, I think that's fascinating because if that little of his soul was being put into the Horcruxes, I don't think there would have been such a power differential between the Horcruxes. Like, if each of them had between like 1 and 3% of his soul, Because like the diary is so much
Mhm.
more powerful than the rest, and the locket is so much more powerful than the rest. And sort of by the
Well,
time you get to the diadem, it's like just chilling there.
I would reason, and this is just my theory, but I would reason that not only has the diary had more time to collect energy, it's had a full year, if yeah, like a full year of being with Ginny and her writing to it and him siphoning off of her to collect all of that energy that it uses towards the end. But also, there's nothing saying that those objects aren't additionally enchanted because the diary also has the ability to act like a pensieve. And you don't see any of that with the other Horcruxes, and I see by your reasoning you're saying that that means that it has more soul energy in it. But what I
Yep.
think is that it has additional enchantments on it to convince people to give their energy to it.
So wait, so you think that Voldemort intentionally enchanted the diary to act as a pensieve, knowing that he would use it to show memories to someone to win them over, to open the chamber.
My personal theory here, and this doesn't have support, so I'm just going out on a limb here. This will come back around, I promise you. So, I took on the role at my company as being a programmer, and I'm learning programming kind of like on the fly as I'm doing a lot of this. And I know a good deal ahead of time, but we're starting on a new language, so like a lot of things I'm learning like from back to front instead of front to back. It's a little confusing. When you start up as a programmer, sometimes you end up creating things that already had a shortcut to it. What I think when Tom had got his diary was that he sensed that Dumbledore could probably, and other people around him, because they're probably trained in legilimency, could probably get into his memories more than he wanted them to. I think he reverse MacGyvered himself a pensieve to store memories in so that he wouldn't have to worry about people finding them. So that additional capability got layered on with the Horcrux, and it made it even more powerful. But there's nothing supporting this, so please feel free to say, "No, no." I just feel like from Tom's perspective, someone who's new to magic and doesn't know that, like, this already exists or that this limitation is here, much in the way that if you're a programmer, you don't know that something already like a component that you need already exists or you can't do something like this, you just go ahead and do it. You just make it. You just painstakingly reverse your way through something that needs to be done. So I saw that as being an extra, a little bit of special sauce that he put on the diary for his own use before it became a Horcrux.
I mean, there's nothing supporting that, but there's nothing refuting it. That's that's a compelling theory.
Thank you. I think it's interesting because there's no support for it. It's just like it's an interesting little thought experiment for his character. I think that if you're looking for like real support for it though, we kind of have to throw it out cuz like there's no way I could cite something like that in the book. It's just me going off on a tangent.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Especially with like Dumbledore in the picture, right?
Yeah.
Because that man, you could tell he's diving through those. I think that Tom didn't know, but then when he learned about like the ability to do something like that, he's like, "That bitch is reading my mind. I know what you're doing."
So you think rather than learn occlumency, he's straight up just removed the memories?
I think it could have been a double trouble, right?
Well, that makes sense because we see he's really, really good at manipulating memories, right?
Yeah.
But what he does with Morphin and Hokey, like I think it's
Oh yeah,
like
God, I even think about you
memory,
supporting my theory for me. Haha.
yeah, like memory magic is very much part of his forte, so that would absolutely make sense.
And with oh my God, not Grindelwald. What's his face? The other wand maker. He
Grigor,
dives into his memories. Grigorovich, yeah, he dives into his memories. It's one of the first times we see someone do something like how he does it.
yeah. Grace, you're good at this theorizing thing.
Yeah, thank you. I think about him too much. I
Yeah.
think that's
Well,
the trick
I
to
feel
it.
I feel like this is kind of what we do, right? Like,
Yeah.
not all of our theories have to be like, explicitly spelled out in the text. It's sort of like if we take what we know is true, what would make sense?
Yeah.
Even if we're not sure it happened, like what is a plausible scenario for that? And I feel like that's as valid a way of theorizing as anything. Like, not to digress, but yeah, I'm gonna digress. During my book launch, one of the girls there asked a question of, "What's your favorite headcanon?" And it is the one question that stumped me all evening because I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
I don't traffic in headcanons. And like I was trying to find like a not dickish way to say that.
Mhm.
But I was like, I bother with headcanons because I'm like, if I believe something, then I want to figure out why I believe it and why you should believe it and why it makes sense. I'm not going to just take something and declare, by fiat that I believe it and therefore we're done.
That's the thing though, it's like, I actually do love headcanons. I love people's headcanons about Tom, and Albus for that matter. I just like hearing people's headcanons about stuff. It's crazy to hear that you don't have them. I feel like you would have some really good ones because you know the text so well.
I know, like, I get this question quite often, and I'm always just like, yeah, I don't really traffic in them. The only one I could come up with on the spot for headcanons is Drapple, because I made Drapple a giant part of MalfoyCon, which is what I call the weekend I used to launch my book. Like, I had apples for snacking, I had apple-flavored everything, I was
I
taking pictures
love
of
it.
apples, just I
Best
went all
flavor.
in, and I was like, "This is purely a headcanon because it's a movieism. There is not a single solitary shred
Oh
of
my god,
anything supporting
it's like
this."
Tom in the suit. I love the suit look for Tom, but that never
But it's
happens.
so much
Yeah,
fun.
it's so good. It's so peak. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Drapple
so
and
that is
suit
the one
Tom. Yeah.
headcanon I will accept, is his complete and utter obsession with apples.
Oh, beautiful. And what a great obsession to have. Really good snack.
I mean,
Solid choice.
they were good. Like, all the people at the convention were like, "Oh, we have the usual, like, we have cake, we have pizza, we have, like, all the things you shouldn't be eating, and then we
Yeah,
have apples. There's fruit
apples.
involved."
I know you're getting vitamins into their system. You helped them survive through that con. You
I
did
mean,
it.
I barely survived through that con, so, whatever gets the job done.
Oh, I can't even talk. I don't even do cons anymore.
Yeah.
Much to my own dismay. They're very fun.
Yeah, Grace, I feel like this is a good moment for me to ask you, what should readers know about your upcoming release plans for Tom? You, unlike me, are not doing a convention for the launch because you,
No,
unlike me, are a sane and rational person.
I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could. There's a
Well,
there's
R.I.P. Voldicon, we're never gonna get that blood ball now.
I wish. I'm doing a book signing in the Philadelphia area for the actual date. Well, it was used to be the day of the release. The day of release was pushed up to the 21st. The book signing is still happening on the 28th. It's happening within the Philadelphia area. So if you're around the area, it's in Bryn Mawr. I'm hoping to plan a secondary book signing in New York City, but we're still waiting on dates for that. We're hoping to do that at Books of Wonder. And I'm doing, I still need to send in something I'd like to present at the Harry Potter conference at Chestnut Hill, the academic conference that's coming up this October. So I need to actually put in for that. So it's good to have the reminder here. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to be attending that for sure. And I'm going to be selling books there. And I'm hoping to plan something for Conjuration. That's another thing that I have to keep in consideration. And I'm hoping to do something with both Lori and with Irvin. So those are all of my future events. I might be doing some Barnes and Noble book signings locally, but those don't have dates yet. So it's kind of weirdly enough, it's kind of down to the wire. I've been planning this for a while and I've been contacting people, but a lot of people are getting back to me right at the last second. So I will get back to you as it happens.
Yeah, oh, I feel that. Like,
Yeah.
launching a book, it's like, oh, nobody wants to talk to you because it's like 14 months away, and they're like, who
Yes.
knows where we'll be? And then suddenly it's like in 2 weeks, and they're like, oh
I
my God,
know.
this only just happened yesterday.
A month beforehand, they'll be like, okay, let's schedule all of these things right now. I'm like, oh, geez. Holy hell.
Yeah,
All right, here we are. We're close, though. We're pretty close. 21st is not that far away
yeah. Oh,
of
that's so
April.
exciting.
It's crazy to think about. I'm sitting here with it in my hands right now. It's very, very nice. It's beautiful. It's got illustrations done by my beautiful husband, Nick Beecher. And the illustrations are exactly what I was looking for. They're haunting, they're wonderful, they're really cool. If you enjoy them along with all the content that's there, so please pick it up. Please enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it.
So I have been trying to tie this interview into Wizard Rock as best I can for the past hour.
I think you succeeded.
Thank you. So I just have one more Wizard Rock-based question about Voldemort for you.
Mm-hmm.
Gadding with Ghouls had an awful lot to say about Voldemort's dance stylings in Voldygroove. So Grace, the hard-hitting question is, what do you think is Voldemort's preferred dance style?
Oh my god. Oh my god, I have no idea. I see like the way that he fights in my mind is something a bit more fluid. So like maybe a more fluid dance style? Like the way that I picture it, because I always associate him with the elements of like water and air. Air because he flies and water because he's Slytherin. So like these two things I think combine to sort of make this very cold and unapproachable but very graceful figure. And I see that in even the way that he like portrays himself as like being this almost this deified individual. If he was going to dance, I feel like it would be something that would lean more graceful. But I think that might be my own wish fulfillment. Like maybe he's actually a terrible dancer. You know what? No, I'm gonna take a stance on this. He's very graceful. If he can control himself while dueling in that way, he can dance the same way. It's fine. And also, he had to conduct himself at fancy parties at one point in his life. So maybe a nice waltz, maybe something that's very like structured but also graceful, something that establishes like a bit of a hierarchy as him as being one in control, you know?
You know, it's funny you say that because both Dancing Death Theater routines that I've choreographed to songs about Voldemort were waltzes.
Hell yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Brilliant. Great minds think alike.
Okay, that's my bonus question. Do you think if the Death Eaters wanted to form a ballroom dance troupe for After Hours, do you think Voldemort would support that?
Oh my god, I feel like he would support it, and like internally he would really want to join them, but he would be like, I am too above this. This was a time in my life that has already passed, and I cannot join. But I think maybe Bella or Rodolphus could get him to join if they really wanted to. You know, like you already know my headcanon. In my heart, I would like that as a throuple, but that's not gonna. I'm not gonna let that color my theory. Maybe I will. Let's just let it color the theory. He does. He does join.
Excellent.
Let's do it, baby.
Yeah. Wait, he does join the throuple or the dance troupe?
Why not both?
Yeah, he's going to be doing the mattress mambo with both of them.
That's for after the club meeting. My God, they can't do it while everyone's there. Come on. It's only for the very few that he would allow that.
Mm-hmm.
The mattress mambo with the... Thought we agreed on waltzes. Like, mambo, where did this come from?
Well, yeah, that's harder to alliterate with something. The wanking waltz, I don't know.
I'm sorry. You've gone too far, sir.
Yeah. Bess, this is a PG-13 podcast, right? I probably should have asked like an hour and a half ago.
There's no rating.
I could have been cursing this whole time. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh my God. This is so much fun. You guys are wonderful.
You're wonderful. Grace, finally, who is your fan cast for Tom in the new TV series?
Oh my God. Well, I have some strong opinions on this.
You? What? No.
I know, right? Look, I think that they're going to do a wonderful job. They're incredible professionals, whoever they end up choosing. My personal opinion is that Harry Potter should have never hit a screen without being animated, completely animated. It should have been animated from the beginning. I feel like that would have added a really wonderful additional layer of magic and also imagination that the series really deserved. And I think that we lost out on something in it not being that way. if it were going to be like, even if it was actually for real, if I was just going to pick an actor, I think Christian Coulson's a solid choice no matter what. I think that for an animated series, it would even heighten it because we could actually portray Tom as he's described in the books, which is like very well put together, but with very dark eyes when he's young and with those gleaming red eyes when he's older. Because we almost never get that. I feel like it would be so much more powerful if we were to stylistically lean in. I feel like there's a game that came out called like Magic Reawakened or something that had a very strong style to it. It came out, it was a cell phone game that came out, I think, for a very short amount of time. I never got the chance to play it because I just don't do cell phone games. But the artwork that they had for it was inspired. It was incredible. I remember seeing it and being like, we could have had it all. They fumbled a baddie. Like, it was so good. But that's my extremely strong opinion. I honestly don't think, like, they could still keep if they were going to go in that direction, still keep the casting of the kids, just have it be voice acted. I just think that an animated series would have been, oh my god, it's delicious, incredible, elevated, inspired, so good. I remember being upset even when they announced that it wasn't going to be animated movies. But I know that, like, America, our audience just doesn't consider animation to be anything but kids show nonsense. It's really hard to get them to think about it otherwise, and that's why the industry is just sort of limited to what it can sell.
I mean, we'll see if the Firefly series takes off, God willing.
What was that?
The Firefly series.
Oh, is that animated? I didn't hear anything more about that.
So I was at AwesomeCon this weekend, and they had the entire Firefly cast there. And so at a panel, they announced that they're making an animated series.
Oh my god. See, they're thinking on their toes. They know what's up. They know where artistry is. I'm a big fan of animation. I'm actually kind of like an animation supremacist. I would love for almost everything to be animated.
Agreed.
I think it would be like a work of art. I think whereas we're going to get a wonderful series made with wonderful actors and actresses, we could have had it all, baby. We could have had it all.
Yep. And now we're just rolling in the deep.
Yeah, we're rolling in the deep, guys. At least we're rolling in the deep together.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I had for you. So, anything else you want to bring up, mention, tell us, promote, plug? Floor is yours.
God, no, just the book. The book is coming out on the 21st. I'm very, very proud of it. I worked very hard on it, and I had a lot of wonderful support from my buddies and also my family. So pick up the book once it's out from your local bookshop or Barnes & Noble. And you can find more about me. You can literally just like look up Voldemort book on like Instagram or on Tumblr. I even do have a TikTok. I just haven't uploaded anything there. I'm sorry. I just needed to claim the name. I'll do something eventually, I promise. And also, if you're looking for more stuff about me, I think my stuff is gracevictoria.net. Let me check real quick. I really should have done this before we started. I'm sorry. That's me, gracevictoria.net, if you want to like contact me.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Yeah, thanks so much for sitting down with me to talk all things Tom Riddle. And I can't wait to read the updated version of the book, and I can't wait for the rest of the world, who's been hearing me prattle on about it for over a year, to finally get their chance to experience it.
Thank you, and thank you for interviewing me. It was an honor to be on. I loved it, every second of it.
Yeah, Bess, thanks so much for having us here at WZRD. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for letting us take over. I apologize for all of these insane tangents.
I apologize for just gestures broadly, whatever I need to apologize for.
And I apologize for nothing.
Nice.